Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 391, and today we're going to be doing battle with Gnar Swain. And so Swain, the Birdman, he hasn't seen too much play these days in the Lands of Eternal, and it's very surprising to me, as a lot of the decks in the format, like the Nora-based decks and the Tristana-based decks, are all looking to flood the board with width. Swain and his overwhelm power into a big AoE should be exceptionally strong against that. And there's this big, powerful, I was going to call it a triangle, but a big square of cards, if you will, that interact very nicely together, and they aren't seeing play either. And so that square of cards we're talking about are going to be Swain himself, the Leviathan, which is capable of drawing Swain and also working well in this go wide environment, having direct damage to the opposing face while also drawing Swain. Ravenous Flock is one of the all-time premier removal spells, but then the new card to the format and Pirouette, tying in very nicely with everything that's going on here, be that a small damage ping to help level up your Swain, but using the Pirouette to either buy you time until your big cards can come online, or to set up your big attacks, or to set up a Ravenous Flock. There's a lot that the Pirouette does that really ties in with everything that Swain is trying to do. And so with our deck today, I was looking to bring Swain into the Lands of Eternal, see if we couldn't have a bit of success with that. And the shell that I'm looking to put this in is more of an aggressive overwhelm style shell. I think the problem point that Swain is probably running into these days is he fits in this kind of interesting mid-rangey style of space, as to where he's not aggressive enough to want to fit into an aggressive based deck, kind of like Pirates or any of the Nox and aggro decks, but he's also too slow in terms of going against the big control heavy style decks, and so he's not going to be able to go toe to toe against like Victors or Aphelioses or Rises and the like. And so you have to kind of decide, do you want to focus in on the mid-game stuff, or do you want to focus in on the aggression? And we're taking this towards the aggressive space. And so with that in mind, that's why you see the unit choices that we have here between the Crimson Pigeons, the Rear Guards, and the Omen Hawk give us those nice 9 1-drops for the early game, and then the 6 2-drops in the Ruthless Raider and the Tusk Speaker to start activating our Overwhelm package. The Overwhelms continue on with Gnar and then the Flipped Swain and the Leviathan. So ideally with our deck, we're going to be able to get a little bit of chip damage in early with our early game aggressive 1-drops, and then convert over into the overwhelms as we're trying to close out the games. The card that we're using to tie everything together is going to be the Spirits Unleashed. This is a fantastic card in this style of deck. You can basically get at least +6 on your Swain anytime you cast this thing. If you assume both players are taking a point of damage, that's 2. If we have 2 units, the opponent has 2 units, that's 6 damage in total. Gets Swain leveled up very quickly, but it also works fantastically with all of the overwhelms. As we give our overwhelm units more attack, they're obviously going to be dealing more damage, but if we get to take those points of health away from the opposing board, our overwhelms essentially got +2 attack, right? If we have a 3 attack Ruthless Raider on the board, we play the Spirits Unleashed, it becomes a 4 attack. Then say your opponent has a 3/3 on the board and it takes a point of damage. Now if we attack into it, our 3/1 into a 3/3 would deal 0, but our 4/2 into a 3/2 will get to overwhelm for 2. And so it essentially got to deal extra damage in that sense. And so outside of that, we have a remainder of a Burn-esque style package to help come in and level up our Swain. Nox and Fervor, another card that does a full 6 damage, gets our Swain leveled up halfway. Imperial Demolitionist here to do 3 level up ticks for Swain, but also come in and help activate our Pirouettes if we need to play it for a plunder cost. Same kind of deal with the Tusk Speaker. It can come down, deal that damage to everything, get a little bit of level up for our Swain, but also come in and potentially activate the plunder on our Pirouettes. To round everything out, we have a little bit of late game punch in here with Revna, boosting the entirety of the units in our deck. A fantastic choice in these decks looking to battle with overwhelms. And then the single copy of Battle Fury, because y'all know we like to have fun. You got to get in here, get some of these big old overwhelm attacks in with the +8 attack, blow up your opponent out of nowhere. And so that's the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. Head on into the queue. See if we can't get some good games in. Our boy Swain. Poor guy, man. He was a menace for a few months, and then he just kind of fell off the map. He got rotated out of Standard. And did he? I don't even remember if he's still in Standard or not. Maybe he's not. That's tough. That's tough for old Swain. But with this start, we're most certainly keeping the rear guard and the Ruthless Raider as we're up against Kaisa Garen. They have a lot of reasonable targets for a Ravenous Flock. They have a lot of big on-curve style units, and so if we get the opportunity to say Ravenous Flock, a whatever 4/4 overwhelm thing is that this deck likes to play, it's a very good value, but I think I want to kind of search for more of our namesake cards and a little bit more early aggression as this game drags on. Kaisa is going to be just a little bit more powerful than the Swain. All right, but not too much to worry about with the Petricite Broadwing. We can just take the 3 if they attack here, and then next turn we do have a bit of choice in the matter as to whether or not we want to add the rear guard and the demolitionist, or just go ahead and open. And now that we've picked up the Crimson Pigeon, I feel pretty good just adding more units to the board. It should be a tough turn for opponent to add a particularly strong unit. This is one of the better ones that they can have, but it's very common for opponent to not really have good 3-drops here, and so I wasn't too scared since we were going to be getting a lot of damage in. But Broadwing's looking pretty good. He's going to get good blocks over here on our bigger units. Hopefully this one health Broadwing won't be too scary for the remainder of the game. And now we can start to dig in our heels a little bit with this Swain, see if we can't get a little bit closer to leveling him up. It's a bit of a bummer with the way we did that. I was like, where's our 1 damage for Swain? I forgot we dealt the damage to the tough unit, and so we didn't get any ticks up with that, but it's okay. It's kind of odd and awkward to hit in that way with Swain, to be able to deal that singular point of damage. Alright, though, but let's add in a Demolitionist. I'm not too worried about the Valor. It doesn't have any good combats here, but I'm kind of tempted to bring in a Nox and Fervor for the round. I think the interesting thing to note is whether or not we'll be able to hit with Fearsome Swain next turn. As the opponent's board stands, none of these units can block him unless they have a Sharp Side, or if they have a +2/+2 thing. I don't know, standard Sharp Sight, whatever we're calling that one these days. But we do run into spots here to where it's kind of nice to Nox and Fervor into the Broadwing so that it can't come in and just get the free attack on our Demolitionist. Opponent's thinking hard on this one. Gotta have a combat trick, right? Okay. Wrong. Bust, you were wrong. But I think this is a reasonable place to stop. If he wants to trade his bird for one of our rear guards, I think that's okay. So many Durandi proteges today. Alright. Well, I thought we were getting in this space to where it's like, well, if it really comes together, we can maybe deal 3 to the face with Swain, and then we're getting close with the Nox and Fervor and the Demolitionist. Gosh, we're so close now with the with the additional Nox and Fervor. Let's see how this goes. Swain can get Fearsome blocked by the Durandi Protege, which is a bit unfortunate on this board, but we gotta wait and see if they have any additional adds to potentially shut him down. He does. Garen certainly counts. This is not a spot I want to be in terms of the burn plan. I mean, the Nox and Fervors are okay. We're getting pretty close to the lethals with these things, but it's kind of scary. But this attack onto Swain doesn't kill him. I mean, if we're gonna be real, we're just going the burn plan, right? We're going the burn route for this game. So let's just go ahead and send Swain to the face. The thing that worries me here is whether or not we should be playing the double Nox and Fervor.
Victory at any cost.
As we're gonna potentially lose out on some units on one of these upcoming turns. But let's see, we'll bring in the Spirits Unleashed. This would have leveled up our Swain, right? This is going to be doing 7 damage in total after we did 6 with the Nox and Fervor. It's one of the things I wanted to point out with the Spirits Unleashed. It's very good at getting that Swain leveled up. But now we have to worry about the opponent interacting with our damages here. So it's a little scary. They've got to have you know, some specific cards to pull it off. They got to have a single combat style card to really make it happen, and then can also pick up a pokey stick off of Gnar. But let's lead in with the Demolitionist to see what happens here first.
Make the Empire proud.
The Gnar plan scares me a little bit. I like to see opponent just spend like 1,000,000 mana here and give us the freebie. And they play the Champion's Strength. A little zing right to the face. I don't have the right emotes on our secondary account here. This would be a good spot for the laser kitty, but that's what happens when you play on your second account sometimes. I don't got the cash flow to buy all the emotes and everything on both. Getting those cosmetics. It's wild. One of the things that comes with home ownership is dealing with the outdoors. Like, I'm not going to cut the grass. I told the wife when we got the house, I'm never cutting the grass. I'm just going to pay someone to do it. I hate it so much. It takes fucking 2 hours to do. It's like 98 degrees outside in Kansas City. You just go sweat your sack off and get all the pollen in your face. Like, I have no desire to do that. And so I just pay a guy to do it. But if you want to, like, continue on and not just be like the nasty house on the street, you have to do additional lawn care with like flowers and stuff, and the wife likes to do that anyways, and it's just not something that I ever really plan to do. But once I started to just think of it as cosmetics for the lawn, I didn't think about it as poorly, right? It feels bad when it's like you go to Home Depot and you buy like $200 of dirt. You know, it really feels like dirt something that should be free. And so you gotta go and just buy dirt. You gotta buy literal shit, right? You have to go and buy cow manure whenever you're hitting up the Home Depot, and so it's it's a real shock once you get out there and have to start doing it. You know, you go to the old Reddit and see people talking about you know, how much a mortgage is in comparison to their rent, and I do feel for you. I do agree that it is obnoxious, but they aren't counting in the amount of cow shit that you have to purchase for your lawn. they didn't put that into the mortgage rate calculation, and so I'm familiar with that pricing now. But once I started to think about it as cosmetics for the lawn, and then I didn't feel nearly as bad. Alright. End of the game, though. I was hoping that we would get the opportunity to clear out all of these acorns with the Spirits Unleashed. He's not going to let us do that. He does have the cheapened cost on the puzzling signposts, and so his other card in hand should cost 3 or cost 4 or so. Something else that, you know it's not inexpensive as you see that price reduction. Now, coming from Bandle City PNZ, there's not too much expensive stuff that I would really expect, but it didn't come in there.
By my hand will Noxus rise.
So, Bust, what'd you do today? No, not much, man. I bought some dirt and some turds. Nice. Nice little Saturday. Nice little Saturday.
Leave them nothing. I will.
All right, things going reasonably. Our Swain's actually connecting directly to the face. I think our opponent, they either just don't have anything to do with the pranks, or they're trying to prank our Spirits Unleashed. I can't really deduce which one I think is happening here, but he's whiffed every time. And now as he's got these 3 1-health units on the board, and then the Spirits Unleashed currently doing 6, which gets us very close to leveling up our Swain. I can see why he would be pretty worried about it. All right, Acorn doing his thing. Spirits Unleashed number 2 coming in. Maybe this one will make it, or maybe his other reduction was a secondary signpost. Nope. Let's get the big AoE. That feels pretty good. You're almost leveled up, Swain. You're almost there. So do we want to do any more damage to him? It's interesting in that I don't think so. The space I'm kind of looking at is I wanted to add our Crimson Pigeon. I'm glad opponent played another card, but we could use the Pigeon to level up our Swain and also get the Leviathan on board. And I think that'll get us right where we want to be. Pops another Ravenous Flock. The Leviathan still looks strong. Okay.
Prepare the cargo! There is no excess when victory is at stake.
Opponent says, ooh, them units real big, bust. GG.
My contracts and
I don't mean to knock the piss out of those wanting to purchase a home. It's really unfortunate in the sense that if that's the path you want to go on, you really had to kind of decide when you're like fucking 18 if you wanted to really hammer that home. You gotta follow that American dream path to where you get shacked up with a significant other, you live with them for like 5 years, and then you use that as a means to collect for your down payment. It's wild when you start to imagine the cost savings. Just use the significant other, right? You got between $800 and $1,200 or so for a one-bedroom shack, and you gotta cut back that $800 so you can just live together. Say, all right, that's where we're gonna get our cost savings. Now we just have to live together in this one-bedroom apartment for 5 years. It's brutal. It's brutal. I understand, but there are a lot of hidden costs to the home ownership as well.
Anything else?
Purchasing turds being one of them. I got so mad the other day. Our thermostat went out. Like I replaced the thermostat the first time, and so that lends a lot of potential for the thermostat being fucked up by me. Like it made it like 2 years, and so it's tough to tell if I fucked it up installing it and something was wrong behind the scenes, or if something else was at play. And I had to call in a professional to replace it. That was a cool $600 down the drain when it just needed a new thermostat. It just stuff like that just builds up. It fucking blows. But it is also the strongest path to wealth generation, and so I feel you. I understand wanting to be on that path. All right, but back to the action here. Reasonable enough start coming in. We picked up another Tusk Speaker. That's a better play than the Demolitionist, but trying to set up a turn here to where we just grab a stun onto one of his units and then crash in for a ton of damage. And this curve space to where he's playing concurrent timelines, we should get a pretty good go at it, right? A very high percentage chance that he just adds a 4-drop for the turn, which he did. Now he's out of mana, so we can safely add the Omen Hawk. We're not gonna be able to Pirouette the Climber, unfortunately, but I feel like we've got enough damage the rest of the way here to close out the game. So let's spread the damage all out nicely. He wants to block our biggest unit at a 3. Still looking to take 14 or so. All right, GG. Well done, Swain and friends. On to the next one. Ooh, the thing they don't tell you in the home ownership playbook is if you want your cats to shit in the basement, but I know the longtime viewers are familiar with my setup, but as we moved into this house, we needed a place to put the litter boxes. We usually just put the litter boxes in like the basement or a bathroom. Here, the bathrooms are all too small. The basement, you have to like exit the house into the garage and another door, and so it just wasn't feasible as a way to wrangle the cats in the sense that we're not going to just leave the garage doors open and then let the cats just have the chance to get hurt in the garage or something. And so For a long time, I had the litter box in here in this little office that I'm in, and hang on, let's just go in and prevent the damage here. Our hand is very awkward and slow, and so I'm gonna look to just Pirouette and then follow up with Ravenous Flock. But I'm pretty sure that gave me some kind of like lung damage from just inhaling all of that cloud of litter dust, and so we finally got it into the basement. But the way that we had to do it was I cut a hole in the wall, and then I put a kitty tree on the other side of it. And so I got one of those cat doors that you would put in like the door to the outside of your house so the cat can run in and out. Put one of those into the wall next to the basement, and then put a kitty tree at the bottom. So now they go down the stairs and then go out that little hole to make their way out. And, that's what's there. It's been a bit of an issue in the sense that the black cat that shows up in the videos, he likes to hang out on top of the little kitty tree thing, and then so if another cat comes down to go into the shitter, he scares him away. So I had to get a second another litter box, a main space litter box for that problem that we ran into. That's what you get. They don't put this shit in the handbook. Nobody tells you this is the way it's gonna be. All right, end of the game though. Let's get in front of this while we can. It's a nice Gnar strike that we get since he played his Blossoming Blade. He can still pretty safely put an additional point of damage onto Gnar this turn. It's going to be a question of how deep do we want to go in with this. I think it's safe. Right, we can add the Omen Hawk, we can Pirouette. The scary blocker right now is this Ribbon Dancer. So we can deal 1 to the Dancer, stun the Blossoming Blade, and then that's going to let us get a Gnar Strike in. The Gnar Strike will make our Pokestick then cost 0, if we want to continue down this path. So he can trade the Ribbon Dancer for the Pigeon if he wants. Okay, I'll allow it. Our Gnar should be safe at 1, and then he's going to gain more health when he flips.
You missed a step.
Alright, there's the free Pokestick. We'll get the flip on this next turn. Ooh, this is so scary. The big unit against tokens is actually the Ruthless Raider, being able to come down and block all of the little small health units over and over and over again because it has tough. Very powerful. Can we ever just get a lethal next turn? That's the spot we start seeing here, as I've got the Battle Fury in hand. If we get to attack with a Gnar and a Battle Fury into a 1 health unit, that's 12? 12 damage? There's some potential there. Gonna be a little bit short, but worth thinking about, you know. Alright, so he's got a good attack with the Blossoming Blade. We'll have to give up our Mega Gnar if we want to get in the way of these. Not going to do that. We'll just let the 4 damage come in. It's a fairly damaging space, but I don't think this is a game to where we ever win the game on the next turn, or even 2 turns from now, as Gnar is looking to attack. So if we say Gnar, Battle Fury, since I forgot I did neglect the this is 14. No, it's going to be short. Bring in the Leviathan.
A conquest for empire.
I don't know if we can make it through this. The opposing deck is in that space where they're about to pop off.
You were always the Elder's favorite student, and you were mine.
It's like, even considering this Leviathan damage that's going to hit next turn, I think we're going to be short. Swain is kind of interesting, though. Being able to say like Pokestick face, stun the Irelia, draw a card, and then maybe have something else turn up. Ooh, that's dangerous. Probably dead. But I guess it is only 2 damage for opponent, but we are getting to the point now to where we can potentially kill with a Nox and Fervor. Where's Irelia at? She's 1 summon away from flipping. Didn't get to play the Blossoming Blade this turn, but she's going to be flipped on this next turn's attack. We just win with Pokestick? That's how we do it, right? So he's going to say Flawless Duet. Ooh, Irelia's the scary part though, right?
You will speak when I allow you.
So the thing that, you know, if we Pokestick and then get a strike in with Gnar, we get to pick up the second Pokestick and then send it to face. That's where we're going to be looking to go here. I'm going to go ahead and add in Swain. We can look to, say, play Swain, play the Crimson Pigeon and such. Maybe get some blockers down for the turn, but you need either the Pokestick or the Nox and Fervor. Let's see if he picks up on this.
Whatever they are, we face them together, little Blossom. Remember
So,
our
does he ever...
and fight for those who came before us.
I mean, as it stands, Irelia is not big enough against the 2 units we're presenting. Right, he can zing the Irelia in, but she can't quick attack either of our champions down. Right, Flawless Duet number 2.
A dance for 2 hearts, reunited in war.
Still can't zing in that Irelia, so we'll block again. If he had a combat trick, he would have already played it and surged her in previously. Right? Probably, maybe. Alright, I think we're good now. So we'll pass. He's going to make another attack.
Know your place.
So now he's going to have to Blade Surge the Irelia. I assume if he swaps out the Domination, right, he needs to swap. That's the way he has to do it. This should be good here. So he's going to need to swap out into the Gnar, and then our dude gets to survive. But all well and good. We did it. Victory unlocked. Victory achieved. Good job, Bust. I knew you had it in you. Alright. Play the cards. Good job. Got this other joy of home ownership. So we came in and replaced a lot of the light fixtures. The only reason we were able to purchase this house was because the people took very good care of it. Like it felt like whenever a problem arose, the homeowner didn't just try and do it themselves. They always kind of hired out help. Everything looks very professional when you look at something, but they also had just like wallpaper everywhere. Like this was very popular. I guess I would assume that they did it in like the 90s, and the shit was just up for 30 years, and so that was kind of the state of the home. It was in very good shape. It was just very poorly done cosmetically, and it was probably very well done cosmetically in the 90s. But as we're in the 20s now, it's not as appreciated, and so. Where this is going is we went and replaced all the light fixtures, and I came in, I replaced a ceiling fan, and then maybe like 2 or 3 months down the road, the light bulb went out on it, and so we go and replace all the lights don't come on. You start doing additional checks, the ceiling fan blade still works, but the light doesn't. And they going through the troubleshooting because, you know, I did the work and they couldn't figure it out. And so it turned out it was the remote. And it took us like 6 months to get a new remote. And it eventually got to the point to where we're just like talking to the customer service people, and they're like, hey, you know, you gotta fix this. You gotta get this thing out of here. Just send us a whole new unit. It's under warranty. We want a whole new unit. And that was the point to where they basically said, oh, we found one. and so with that in mind, we got the new thing. But you know, if you're in an apartment and you don't have a light for 6 months, someone will come and replace that. But wasn't the case here. Old Bus just sitting in darkness for a fucking long ass time. All right, into this game though. We got a nice Spirits Unleashed. I felt like we'd be able to pop the Sparring Student if the turn started for us, which it did. Now we have these very strong Overwhelms coming in, and then Master Yi has the point of damage on him, and so probably find ourselves in a space to where we can Ravenous Flock him in a future turn. Kind of felt like, given the opponent's attacks last turn, that they probably had a combat trick in hand, and this is fine. Just preventing damage with the Twin Disciplines. Don't care about that whatsoever.
Show them no weakness.
Irelia coming in. Sure thing. I think we're in pretty good shape here. What's our Swain at? 8? See the Battle Fury come in and start doing finger math, you know? He said, can we do it? Can we do it? Alright, so this is what I was talking about in the previous game, being able to put the tough blocker in front of these little 1/1s. Very nice, very powerful.
Just need a second.
But I'm going to add in the rear guard. I'm going to add in the pigeon. I'm going to Ravenous Flock at Master Yi, but I'd like to give the opponent a chance to spend some more mana for the turn.
What if I falter?
So if
You fall. I will
he has a
always
deny or a
catch you.
combat trick, then the Master Yi is not as relevant. Now with no mana, we're looking in pretty good shape.
Lead.
So this will take us to 9. I think I like the block onto the Blossoming Blade. That's pretty... I mean, it's going to be a big block on the next turn. So I'd like to punch in our Overwhelms, but we'll have to see what Swain does. Very real chance that we play Swain and then opponent has a Defiant Dance. I think that's okay since Irelia is not going to flip off of it. Or do we just go Battle Fury? Alright, it's been decided.
Ready.
We'll go Battle Fury. Call up Rico Rex and ask him if we're doing it right. Ask him if we're doing it right. We got the Overwhelms in. We got the Battle Furies on. Oh, I'm not even playing the Battle Fury? I don't know. We'll have to see if Rico Rex agrees. If you're not familiar with his work, he plays on EU and does a lot of rank 1 laddering. He always does it with Overwhelms. He plays Overwhelms all across the board. Doesn't matter if it's Bone Club Darius. He's been doing it with Renekton Freylord here recently. He's done it with the Yetis deck a couple of seasons ago. If you follow him on Twitter, it's just Overwhelm memes all the time. And so I'm curious if we manage that one properly there. Have to ask the master because I really don't know. But I feel like anytime you have the opportunity to Omen Hawk, or the Omen Hawk, please. Anytime you have the opportunity to Battle Fury, you should probably just be going for it.
It won't get past me.
Alright, so we picked up the Omen Hawk, but I'm going to go as aggressively as we can here. I assume this opposing Swain deck is going to be much more on the control decky end of the spectrum, packing these Caitlyn's, and so I'm looking to go rear guard into double pigeon. That's going to be the most damage that we're able to pull off in these early turns here. I was curious if he was going to come at us with, say, like a Piltover Peacemaker. Doesn't have the mana for that now, so we'll get the strong attack in for the turn. Send everybody in. If he just kept his mana up, if he 3-banked into this turn, I was going to start playing Omen Hawks. Because the thing that strikes me as is he's going to say play a Caitlyn, and then he's going to play a Piltover Peacemaker and try and kill off one of the units in combat. We should be getting the damage in with the Omen Hawks in that space. But with him going with the Flashbomb Peddler, he's just kind of open to having really good blocks over the remainder of the turns, and I don't want to miss out on the opportunity here to get this damage in. Yep. So very curious, he blocks the Crimson Pigeon with his Dude. I would assume that he just has another Ravenous Flock in hand. Right? If he's going to take the route of just preventing as much damage as he can, why wouldn't he put his Dude in front of the Legion rearguard and actually get the kill on it? So I assume he's going to have some ways to try and manage these units.
Let's investigate.
Caitlyn's fine.
Now we wait.
What up, Big Gnar? I'm looking to open attack again next turn. The idea with this next open attack, I don't want to boost the Crimson Pigeon. I don't want damage going on to Gnar. It's very easy for opponent to have access to more Ravenous Flocks here. If he has like 2 Swains in hand or another Ravenous Flock, the 1 damage will let him kill Gnar. Don't really want to be seeing that, and so looking to just attack this way. So our Gnar gets to keep himself protected from the damages.
Watch your toes. Come on.
Do have the Spirits Unleashed in hand, ready to ready to put the additional damages on Gnar, but it'll be much bigger soon. So there's the Ravenous Flock. Okay. It's curious if the opponent plays things like Scorched Earth. That's kind of a space to where if we play the Spirits Unleashed, our Gnar is just going to be big enough to survive Ravenous Flocks from now on, right? He's going to go up to 6/5 when the Spirits Unleashed comes down. He'll be even bigger next turn after the flip, but it's annoying. Alright, well, let's go ahead and Spirits Unleashed then. Get this point of damage on Caitlyn. We can try and pokey stick her out of combat. We need something though, right? Gotta start drawing some of our value cards like the Leviathan or Revna. Oh, poor guy. Getting close. Ooh, Swain's scary. We're gonna have to drop this Demolitionist just as a blocker. Can't let him be getting I think we have to just let that happen. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and pokey stick to Caitlyn, see what we draw. There is a chance next turn that if we draw another unit, we can just get a Battle Fury kill. So we'll see how that comes together. I don't think we want to play Swain just yet. Like, we have some flash bombs in our deck. I don't want him
For the Empire.
getting hit by a flash bomb and then being able to get killed by a Scorched Earth. I think he's a lot better just to have on board like this. Taking a 3-bank into the next turn isn't terrible either, since we could have potentially found ourselves playing Battle Fury. But I think this is just going to be a big Swain turn now, especially if he brings in the Leviathan. And we're able to Swain the face, or send the unblocked unit to the face, and then get a bunch of Swain damage in.
Grand General.
I think it's good. Look at how much meatier my Swain is. Look at that. He's got +3/+3. You got this little bitch Swain out here. He's all flipped, but he's only a 4/7. Get some stats, bro. Get some stats. Little bitch Swain. I'm pretty sure that's what he's called. It's in the lore. It's in the lore, you know. All right, so I'm gonna send the fervor directly at Swain. Then we'll attack with our Swain to the left. If he wants to block, he's gonna take this big overwhelm hit. It should be enough to just lethal here.
Victory at any cost.
Here comes our flip.
Victory awaits.
We're playing the big Swain, not the little bitch version. Oh shit, and he gets to stun our dude though? Oh fuck. Fuck. How did he deal damage? What just happened? Oh, the shock blast. Okay. Okay, there's another angle to that. Alright. Well, that's some bullshit. That's not. if we get the chance to drop the Leviathan and get our other Swain and be ready to Ravenous Flock his Swain, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal, my friends. We'll go back to calling this little bitch Swain now.
Order, sir. Bring forth our army. Order, sir. Bring forth our army.
That's an appropriate emote right there. Well, you got Piltover Peacemaker. That's okay. So the thing that's going to happen next turn is he's still going to get stunned, right? So the Leviathan's going to do the 2 damage to face. It's going to stun his Leviathan, and then we can just open attack. So if he does have Scorched Earth, Nox and Guillotine, whatever this guy feels like playing, our Swain is going to, you know, potentially die, but the rest of our units are going to be able to attack. We got this Battle Fury primed and ready. Oh boy, that was scary.
Clear it out. Blast him.
Send him on in. Oof. LBS, that's what they call him. Little bitch Swain. Learn to master the birds, bro. Learn to master the birds.
Needed.
All right, good stuff. On to the next one. Tearing through silver. This is one of the things that's been kind of interesting to me with the timelines getting banned and not getting banned, getting nerfed, and people really taking a lot of credence in the stats that live out there right now. The stats are a hot mess right now, given that like I've been playing on the main account quite a bit and still running into exceptional amounts of like bronze players, even though we're sitting up in masters, and so it's a bit of a mess in terms of the way the stats are playing out.
For me, the spirit's dance.
All right, oh Wick turning up, friend of the Always Been Gaming. He was the big reason if you saw the Always Been Gaming event that happened on Sunday. He was the big contributor to the prize pool, and so if you like seeing more stuff like that, you got to give Wick a thumbs up and a high five. Thanks for doing it, bruh. All right, but how are we going to continue on here? It's like I want to play Spirits Unleashed a little bit.
This land is ours.
But this is a big old unit and the Badger Bear. And so it feels like a reasonably safe block, given that he doesn't have any mana at this point. So I think I feel good about that. We can just look to make the big unit board this turn. And then one of the kind of relevant things we have going on is the Spirits Unleashed into Revna. With Revna getting the bonus stats from the spirits and then being able to give, doubled up, or give the additional stats to the rest of our team. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the bird's coming in. Somebody wasn't prepared for the big bird draw. Fiora wasn't ready for this. Alright, let's unleash those spirits. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're gonna lose our bird to the Giral if that's what he's looking to go for here. Right, he's got the trade if he wants to take it. We just gotta deal 5 more damage, right? And then we can try and kill with the Leviathan. So it's fairly tempting to just attack, but I'm leaning towards just playing Revna. Like as they're playing a curve deck, we have a lot of opportunities to just get around them. But I think Gnar's a little better. Like he's not going to do big things this turn, but generating a Pokey Stick is exceptionally good against a deck that should have a ton of barriers in it. And so even if he plays like Prismatic Barrier onto Giral here and we lose the Gnar, gets us set up pretty well for the upcoming turns. All right, GG. Well played. On to the next one. The final battle coming forth. But yeah, the ABG event, if you like to have nice things, you know, you got to go out and support those. My thing has always been, I grew up in Huntington, West Virginia. That's where Marshall's from, and it was very Marshall University is where I went to school. That's also from Huntington. If you've seen the all-time greatest sports movie of all time, We Are Marshall, that's where it's from. But people would always bitch about not having things to do and nothing cool ever coming to town, and then be like, "Well, did you go to this event? No. Did you go to that event? No. Did you try to organize anything? No. Did you do this? Did you do that? No, 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 no." And that's why nothing's here. If nobody shows any interest in doing anything, then nobody's gonna turn up and support those events and get those things going. And so, if you want to have nice things, if you want to have grassroots events in the Legends of Runeterra space, you got to go support them when they come up. All right, back to the final battle action. Zoe Samira Draven. I would guess that this is probably an out-of-the-way deck. We touched on out-of-the-way in our 3 videos ago, where you play out-of-the-way, then that makes the bonuses onto your units permanent for the rest of the game. And this is the turn they'd want to be playing it, right? It costs 4 mana. So we're going to be in the space to where we can try and pirouette away the Zoe and then block and then stun their best unit. He didn't go for the out-of-the-way, so he either doesn't have it or he's not playing that. Loping Telescope is a little odd in that sense, but I think we still want to get the pirouette and the good combat here. Okay. You done been stunned, bird? Not stunned. You lost your abilities. You've been silenced. Sure. Alright, not bad. We don't have a lot to do this turn, but taking a 3 bank into Swain's not horrible. We'll find the time to drop this Battle Fury eventually, you know.
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
Make a sad noise. Well, we'll definitely take the trade onto the Solari Soldier. Our Silenced Bird isn't doing anything the remainder of the game, so that's a reasonable trade. Like, I don't think there's a 0 mana thing to actually worry about here.
Now we're cooking.
Draven gets axed. Sure. What do you even discard? Star Chart. Interesting.
By my hand will Noxus.
Lead us to victory, Grand General.
Alright, so what do we got happening now? Do we want to send anything in? I mean, it just has to be obvious we're up to shenanigans, right? It's probably not worth it. Alright, let's just pass. I'm gonna build myself up to this Battle Fury Swain next turn, and everything's gonna be okay from there. Star Chart. How close is this Zoe? She's got a ways to go to flip. I don't think we'll have to worry about this Zoe flipping this game. Getting that turn 2 one down really does a number on their ability to to get her flipped, but this is a scary attack. Gotta assume he's gonna open here. Nox and Fervor, though.
You lack discipline.
So just want to go for the big damage prevent. This is gonna get our Swain really close to flipping, but I don't think we have any ways to stack a flock, right? If we get a flock just hanging out on the board, actually, opponent has a ton of mana in the same way that we do. What are the chances they can really boost this Imperial Demolitionist? Like, I'm just like, it sucks if we play the Nox and Fervor and then just have to bank all of this mana. I really just want to play Battle Fury. But if he's got like any combat trick, then the play fails, right? He's got a spinning axe in hand, and so anything that gives +1 attack is going to be enough to take the unit down. That's probably just too dangerous.
Tactician's greatest tool.
I guess it wouldn't be horrible if Swain died, because we already have another Swain in hand. But that's just too scary. I don't know about you, but I don't like being scared. I don't want to be scared of these.
Time for the moneymakers.
Interesting. So he's spinning axes onto the Battlecaster to deal additional damage to Swain. What if we do this? I haven't done this before, but what if we Ravenous Flock our own Swain to get him to flip? And then just play the other one. Right? Because if our Swain gets to flip,
After the battle for Raven,
he's gonna just AoE the opposing board, and I think the game's pretty easily takeable from there. Right? So we bird our own Swain. We got this other Swain ready to go. Moondreamer is actually kind of scary with the changes to the high level invokes and being able to hit an overwhelm in that, or hit a obliterate in that space. Right? You don't have to behold Celestials to play Supernovas anymore. But they are short on mana at this point, so needs that 6th cost obliterate and not the 9 cost one. Alright, but Swain in. Here comes the Leviathan.
stands to their knees.
Let's see what we can do. Get stunned is what we can do. I think it's still okay. We're gonna get the 2 stuns next turn, right? So it's gonna stun Draven and stun Moondreamer. Is this stun the strongest ones? Yeah, stun the strongest back row. So it'll be Draven and Moondreamer. We have a Nox and Fervor onto Zoe if we need to. She's the one that's pretty scary right now. Star chart card number 8 or 9. 9, so yeah, she's gonna flip, but opponent only has 1 card. So maybe we're okay. I want to be doing the Nox and Fervor sooner rather than later, though. Alright, so there's the flip. If he hits elusive off of that, then we're dead. But if he doesn't hit elusive, we might be okay here. Oh, he's already played 1 Crescent Strike. Let's drop this onto Zoe. Can't have her flip. If he hit that 3 mana Celestial, if you play it as the 10th card, he's going to give everything elusive anyways. And so now, if he plays a dude, we can still say just block it with Omen Hawk. Might be okay now. Might be okay. Give me some inspiration. I've been told I have a temper. Thanks. Thanks. Oof, okay. Crescent Strike's only going to take us to 1. right? He stuns the bird. Here, we'll go ahead and stun Draven, sure. Or go ahead and kill Draven. He attacks for 6, takes us to 1. We get to open attack next turn, battle Fiora Swain. The Leviathan will also stun the Moondreamer, so don't have to worry about as much damage. I think we're going to take this one at 1. I think we're going to be okay. Ooh, opponent agrees. They say, bust, it's too much. It's too much. GG, well played. Not a bad set of battles. So we could take this one and pull it up, talk about it a little bit more. Not a bad 8-0 run through the earlier side of the Eternal ranks. And, you know, it was a pretty fun and good run here. I still feel like the deck is like a little bit lacking. I don't suspect we would have had nearly as much success in the kind of Masters level queue, but there's a lot of good ideas here that are pretty close to being very powerful, and it really kind of meta dependent as to whether or not these things are going to pop off. But the kind of Bone Club Darius style overwhelms thing has always been pretty powerful. The Swain, Leviathan, Ravenous Flock, Pirouette, Spirits Unleashed kind of cycle of goodness is pretty nice as well. And so there's a lot of strength and a lot of power going into this deck. It's just, again, as we kind of mentioned at the start, the place where this deck can really lack is if your opponent tries to just be a little bit slower than you. So if you're up against something like Norra Vagar, or if you're up against some kind of back alley bar deck or the Seraphine Plaza Guardian deck, those decks that are capable of just either A, killing your Swain with like a Disintegrate, or B, just having a even slower late game plan than you have, that they're able to take advantage of your deck. And so you're really trying to kind of position yourself to where, you know, you're okay against the aggro decks, you're absolutely outstanding against the mid-rangey decks, and then you accept you're just going to have a negative win rate against the even slower control decks, and they probably aren't even really worth chasing after the percentage points. And so if you get one of these draws to where you curve out your early plays into overwhelms, and then you have like a flipped turn 5 Swain, you have the chance to win. But those games that drag on until turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, you're just never going to win. But it's something to certainly keep in mind. A lot of really powerful stuff here. I think with like one new card to really slot into a deck like this, or maybe a little bit better champion that isn't Gnar, has a lot of chance to really kind of like pop off and have some strength. Or if the meta turns more mid-rangey, you have a space there. Or if you want to try and fit this into a best of 3 lineup, I could certainly see that. And so lots of actual potential here. Something you could definitely use to climb into Masters, but is it the tier 1 of decks? Probably not. But is it the tier 1 of fun? Absolutely is. I had fun with that one. I hope you did too. Says that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope we maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.